This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
Maine is now the 13th state in the nation with paid family and medical leave. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. Maine will no longer require the COVID vaccine for healthcare workers, and business owners are suing the town of Bar Harbor following a cruise ship passenger cap ordinance. Thank you for joining us. We'll have more on these and other stories coming up. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Hey Susan, happy Wednesday afternoon. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Luigi and Fredericks across the Eastern Maine Medical Center, serving the greater Bangor area for over 65 years. Alrighty, here we go. We had a dense fog advisory active earlier this morning. It was dropped at 9 a.m. So we're done with that though, as fog was definitely hit and miss for a while. It was definitely causing some issues in Washington County. Look how low the visibility got at times earlier this morning, but everyone else looking pretty good out there now. And we're calming down, at least for the time being. Some clouds and sunshine mixed in though, but we're going to be watching for a few showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon period. Some of those could turn on the stronger side with some gusty winds possible, so we'll have to watch that. As you can see, a little bit of this energy here moving from the west to the east, and that'll be our trigger mechanism coming up during the afternoon period. So showers and thunderstorms possible this afternoon. This might be underdoing it just a tad bit, but notice it backs off later on tonight. And then for your Thursday, we're dry with a mostly cloudy sky on the way. The winds outside of the storms will not be a big deal at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. The directions will be changing up just a bit, but again, the sustained winds outside of the thunderstorms will not be a big deal. So for today, we'll stay partly cloudy, a few showers and thunderstorms on the way. Highs in the upper 80s and that west wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Later on tonight, lower 60s on the way, partly cloudy. Some areas of dense fog on the way yet again. Showers early too, with the wind overall looking nice and calm. For tomorrow, mid 80s, mostly cloudy. We're dry for a change, and a south wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Hourly forecast for the rest of the afternoon period, scattered showers and thunderstorms possible. Gusty winds can be ruled out. Temperatures in the 80s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. A Rhode Island man was arrested in Brewer on Monday after he was found driving a stolen vehicle. 21-year-old Charles Chambers of West Warwick, Rhode Island, was stopped on State Street in Brewer by police for a traffic violation. During the stop, the officer found he had a suspended license and active bail conditions. He'd also been arrested the previous day by the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office. Officials say that was for his role in a stolen vehicle high-speed chase. Authorities say he stole the second vehicle once he was released from jail. The second vehicle was reportedly returned to the owner. Chambers was arrested for unauthorized use of property, violation of conditions of release, and operating without a license. One man is still in custody following a police chase Monday night that police say involved a stolen vehicle. According to Bangor Police Sergeant Jason McCambly, officers responded to a report of an altercation between a man and a woman on Lincoln Street around 11:20 p.m. Sergeant McCambly says the man took off in a gray truck, which was later determined to be stolen. Officers located the truck on Main Street and attempted a traffic stop, but Sergeant McCambly says the truck backed into the police cruiser and took off. Police pursued the truck to Interstate 395 and then onto I-95 traveling north before the truck made a U-turn and got back onto I-95 south. The truck eventually stopped near mile marker 180. Sergeant McCambly says the operator was identified as 25-year-old Kareem Stokes of Bangor. McCambly says Stokes fought with officers who were attempting to take him into custody but was eventually subdued and transported to the Penobscot County Jail. Stokes was charged with operating under the influence, eluding, resisting arrest, and multiple traffic offenses. Maine is now the 13th state in the nation with paid family and medical leave. Governor Janet Mills signed a state budget Thursday morning that creates a family and medical leave program. The measure will allow working Mainers to take up to 12 weeks of paid leave to care for their own health or that of a loved one. They'll also be able to take paid leave for a new child. The budget will also extend free community college for 2 more years for high school classes of 2024-2025, and it doubles the child care worker stipend. It also expands eligibility for the Child Care Affordability Program, which helps low-income families pay for child care. It provides $31 million in one-time funding for grants to emergency medical services throughout the state to ensure continued access. The governor's Office of Policy Innovation has formed an expert advisory committee to support Maine's Roadmap to End Hunger by 2030 initiative. The panel is made up of stakeholders across the state involved in combating hunger. Their goal is to address the root causes of food insecurity in Maine.
The population of this middle Maine is in a crisis, really. The food insecurity here is in a dire strait. Opportunities for jobs are fewer, and yet there are people here that still are hungry.
Dean says food banks have been working harder than ever to support their communities. She says the group has been meeting virtually for a couple of months, and they are feeling hopeful that together they can make a real difference for Mainers in need. The Maine Department of Health and Human Services says it proposes removing the COVID vaccine from required immunizations for healthcare workers. A statement from DHHS says the move is in response to evolving scientific evidence and trends. The statement says, quote, while the COVID-19 vaccination remains an important tool to protect public health, the vaccination requirement for healthcare workers achieved the intended benefits of saving lives, protecting health capacity, and limiting the spread of the virus in Maine during the height of the pandemic. Despite having the oldest population in the nation, Maine consistently rated among the top states in the country on vaccination and among the lowest on COVID-19 deaths. Bangor City Councilors have decided which organizations will get a piece of the remaining COVID-19 relief funds. It has awarded the Bangor Area Homeless Shelter with $10,000 for its diversion program. The program helps people find safe and secure housing. It also awarded $67,000 to the Eastern Area Agency on Aging to support its nutrition program. Bangor firefighters had also hoped to receive a portion of the pandemic money to boost their pay. Dozens of Bangor firefighters filled the City Council chambers Monday night to express their disappointment and frustration with Bangor's handling of ARPA funding. Devin Dagnalt has more.
The psychological toll that this pandemic had on specifically first responders is going to be everlasting. I performed CPR in vain underneath a Christmas tree on Christmas morning. I held the hand of a dying man, all who didn't understand what was happening. I'm sorry.
The Bangor Firefighters Union originally applied for a lump sum of approximately $800,000 of the city's $20.48 million in ARPA funds. The goal was to issue two payments of roughly $4,500 to each first responder who worked during the pandemic. The city denied their application. Members of the union confronted the City Council Monday night.
The initial request through our labor management was turned over, and the responses I've got was laughed at, just not taken seriously, potentially not shared with the council. So our request basically went from our hands to a shredder.
During the workshop, several Bangor firefighters testified about the toll the pandemic took on them, their families, and their work, with some even saying they are now embarrassed to work for the city due to how they've been treated.
What I remember most about the pandemic, though, was thinking, man, I hope I can get COVID. That way I can get 2 weeks off. I want you to let that sink in for a moment. I hope I get sick with a potentially lethal disease just so I can get some sort of reprieve.
Following the testimonies, City Council members had very little to say and offered no explanation as to why the application was denied.
But we're not going to take any action, obviously, on this tonight. But I think it's important for you all to hear, while you're here, that you are appreciated.
Currently, the city has more than $16 million in ARPA funding left to allocate. Multiple attempts were made to contact the City Council to discuss their decision concerning Bangor Fire's application. We are still awaiting comment. In Bangor, Devin Dagnall, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Tuesday marked day one of a three-day trial in which business owners are suing the town of Bar Harbor following a cruise ship passenger cap ordinance. In November, Bar Harbor residents narrowly voted to implement an ordinance limiting the number of cruise ship passengers allowed to disembark into town to 1,000 per day. In response, local business owners and other stakeholders are suing the town, claiming the directive is unconstitutional. During a more than 2-hour recorded testimony, the executive director of Cruise Ship Maine, Sarah Flink, discussed the company's overall role in compliance with the town. Flink says the ordinance will force cruise ship lines to hold and ultimately reduce the number of reservations by thousands. The president of Penobscot Bay River Pilot Association, Captain David Galonitsis, says he believes the high volumes of cruise ship passengers do not create a hazard. We spoke to an anonymous resident who says she hopes the ordinance is upheld, adding that residents do not want their home to be recognized as a tourist resort. Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, members of the Maine National Guard are mobilizing. We've got the details when we return. Oh, that feels so good.
What a sweetheart. I'm so lucky.
These socks are so soft. And her feet don't smell? These would be perfect for hunting season.
Moisture wicking, odor resistant, hypoallergenic, softer than cashmere, and warmer than wool. Get your alpaca socks and more at the Blue Alpaca. Feel the difference.
Hey babe, can I borrow these socks?
Come see us at R&K Variety in Hamden. R&K Variety is more than just a convenience store. With delicious homemade food made fresh daily, we offer hearty meals that don't break the bank. Whether it be our delicious chicken pot pie, our famous lasagna, or one of our savory soups, you can't go wrong at R&K Variety. Looking for a drink after work? R&K Variety is an agency liquor store with an impressive selection. R&K Variety, more than just a convenience store. We're your neighbor, chef, barista, and friend. Stop by today.
Should I be selling right now? I gotta get a bigger place. What's my house worth? What do you think? What's my house really worth? This is pretty. How do I buy a house?
What if I don't have time to see it in person?
What is going on with this housing market?
You have questions. We can take the guesswork out of that. Contact a RE/MAX collaborative agent today. We service all of Maine.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Pittsfield, is sponsored by Varney Chevrolet. Proud to be your trusted hometown dealer, serving the communities of Pittsfield, Newport, and beyond. Come experience Varney value. Coastal Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer with 29 locations, owned and operated by a Maine family that cares. And University of Maine Early College, tuition-free online courses for high school students. umaine.edu/early college.
For over 25 years, Maine Collision Center has been your main source for collision repair. Take a look at the following and you'll see why Maine Collision Center brings their team of collision repair specialists to guarantee the right person for the right repair job every time. The result, vehicles restored to their beauty and dependability without the weights and hassles. Owner Sean Sullivan invites you to see his spacious new facility on Target Industrial Circle and see why Maine Collision Center should be your choice for collision repair.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Nine soldiers from Maine's 146th Cyber Warfare Company are mobilizing. They're heading to Fort Gordon in Georgia this month in support of Army Cyber Command, or RCyber. They will be there for approximately 1 year. The mission of RCyber is to integrate and conduct cyberspace operations, electromagnetic warfare, and information operations. Members of the 146th, along with other Maine Army and Air personnel, were part of the U.S. response in Montenegro in the fall of 2022, when the country suffered a cyber attack on government networks. Since 1997, Mount Desert Island has offered rides for people who struggle to get around. Island Connections began with the promise to provide free transportation to the elderly and people with disabilities. That's a promise they've kept all these years later. Doug Banks has more on Island Connections and their 4th annual match campaign.
In Suite 101 of the Bar Harbor Municipal Building, you will find Island Connections. It is a nonprofit organization that provides transportation and other services to the elderly and people with disabilities in the Mount Desert Island area.
We are 100% volunteer driven, so all of the rides that we provide, we have a dedicated group of volunteers that are so amazing. And we help people just be more independent and improve their quality of life.
Island Connections is seeking a crucial annual boost to that mission with its 4th annual match campaign. It starts on July 15th and runs for 30 days, with the goal of raising money to match the $15,000 given to them from donors. One of those people is Debbie Kennedy, who, along with her mother, had trouble finding their way around the island.
If I didn't have them to take me to my appointments for my hearing aids, for my physicals, for my eyeglasses, whatever, I wouldn't be able to get there because me and Mom have no idea what we're doing. And we both use walkers now. And it's very difficult.
If it wasn't for the men and women who work and volunteer their time here at Island Connections, Debbie says that her life could have been drastically different.
It's a wonderful place. I mean, we have nothing like that in Massachusetts, where I came from. It's like, it's amazing. It really is truly, it's amazing.
In Bar Harbor, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
After the break, we'll take a look at cleanup from flooding and much more. We'll be right back.
Hi folks, this is Barry Gass of Gass Horse Supply and Western Wear in Orono. We've been in business since 1911, and our third-generation family-owned business can't wait to show you our unique line of Western wear and Western tack. We have Western boots, shirts, hats, belts, and buckles for the entire family, and Western tack from bridles to saddles and everything in between for your horse.
Gass Horse Supply and Western Wear, where the American West comes alive in Maine.
Welcome to Bennett's Gems and Jewelry in Belfast. With beautifully crafted gemstone jewelry you'll be proud to own or give as a gift. See why our longtime customers call Bennett's their favorite gift store, with an irresistible selection of genuine Maine tourmaline. Fine jewelry and gemstone giftware. Bennett's Gems also pays cash for your old gold and silver. Open till 6 every day, even Sunday. Bennett's Gems and Jewelry is on Route 1 in Belfast, next to Perry's Nut House. Look for our famous pink dinosaur and prepare to be delighted.
With AAA Insurance, by bundling our home and auto policies, we saved over $450.
And we were shocked at the savings.
When we switched to AAA auto insurance and bundled our policies, we were able to save over $400 every year.
Switch to AAA Insurance today, and you could save an average of $483 on auto insurance. Compare that to State Farm, Geico, even Allstate. Call now for your free AAA full picture quote to find out how much you could save.
Well, my passion is hang gliding. I've been doing it for over 30 years, and it's like flying. I mean, it's like everything you always dreamed about. AAA Insurance helps us save more.
And do more.
The savings from AAA Insurance has allowed me to pursue my passion of making jewelry. It's great to have a little bit of extra cash to do something that you love.
To find out how much you could save by switching to AAA Insurance, call 866-460-1310 for your free AAA full picture quote today. You'll be glad you did.
Pepper's Landing is the definition of authentic Maine dining. Named in honor of our grandfather, the primary focus at Pepper's Landing is offering a variety of fresh, locally harvested seafood to all. We take pride in our quality and selection, but it doesn't end with just seafood. We also offer delicious selections of burgers, pasta, steaks, and more. So stop in to any of our locations and see what Pepper's Landing is all about.
Now to the concerning summer of weather in just about every region of the country. Hot, dry conditions across the west are raising fears about much larger fires later this summer. In the east, there are plans to clear mud and debris today from the streets of Vermont's capital. The ground there is saturated, and despite some short-term relief, there's more rain in the forecast. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has more.
Overnight, officials closely watching a dam near Vermont's flooded capital city delivered some good news. The water is receding. Montpelier was pounded with nearly 8 inches of rain in a matter of hours. A local river cresting at over 21 feet, swamping downtown. Floodwaters swept away the ground beneath these railroad tracks.
And your house is right there. It's very nerve-wracking.
Cynthia Gubb watched as water swallowed the road just feet from her home in Londonderry.
Well, we know the wall held during Irene, so we were hopeful it would hold during this storm, too. This one doesn't even have a name for it.
And now the state is bracing for up to 4 more inches of rain by this weekend. Meanwhile, 65 million people from Florida to California are under heat alerts. Phoenix is expecting the 13th consecutive day of temperatures of 110 degrees or higher. Most of California is seeing temperatures more than 15 degrees above normal, and Las Vegas could hit an all-time record of 118 degrees this weekend.
If Las Vegas passes 117, which is kind of their cap, that would break an all-time record. I remember being out at the National Weather Service in Las Vegas and asking them, why is it 117? Well, it looks like this Sunday, we might even be able to break that.
Heat is the deadliest natural hazard in the U.S., with an average of nearly 1,400 additional deaths each year due to more days over 90 degrees. And it's not just rising temperatures on land. About 40% of the world's oceans are experiencing a heat wave. Scientists say climate change is also triggering more extreme rain events. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
A disagreement between a military service branch and politicians is holding up benefits that could affect troop levels. The U.S. Air Force says it's suspending bonuses and permanent change of station moves for troops in order to avoid exhausting its funds. The announcement comes after Alabama lawmakers moved to cut Air Force funding until the location of the new Space Command headquarters is publicly announced. The base has been slated for Alabama, but is delayed by the Biden administration over the state's abortion laws. A suspension of funds may affect the branch's recruitment and retention. Turning now overseas to the final day of the NATO summit and crucial bilateral talks set for President Biden and Ukraine's President Zelensky. The meeting comes after Biden pushed back against Ukraine joining the military alliance while at war with Russia. ABC's Justin Finch is in Washington with the latest.
Before a cheering crowd, Lithuania's president welcoming Ukraine's President Zelensky to Vilnius, the city hosting the NATO summit. Zelensky arriving with a message to all 31 NATO nation leaders and the world. Zelensky saying Ukraine will make NATO stronger. NATO leaders agreeing to make it easier for Ukraine to eventually join, but not providing a timeline, saying in an official statement, "We will be in a position to extend an invitation to Ukraine to join the alliance when allies agree and when conditions are met." Zelensky responding with sharp critique, calling it unprecedented and absurd that NATO has not mapped out a timeline for Ukraine's membership, scolding so-called vague wording about conditions and saying uncertainty is weakness. Zelensky now booked for a one-on-one meeting today with President Biden. The Biden administration underscoring that admitting Ukraine now risks forcing the allies into war with Russia, given its attack against one is an attack against all policy.
President Biden's been very clear about this, and in fact the Ukrainians have too, that in the midst of a war, you're not going to take the membership step.
The president also commending Turkey's President Erdogan for lifting his objections to Sweden joining NATO.
Thank you for your diplomacy and your courage to take that on.
The president's meeting face-to-face after months of talks aimed at adding Sweden to the alliance and after the U.S. agreed to supply F-16 fighter jets to Turkey. President Biden and G7 leaders are set to join Zelensky to announce long-term support to end the war with Russia and military investments to deter and respond to future attacks. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
Make your waterfront even more fun and more functional than it already is with a ShoreMaster premium dock system from Hammond Lumber Company. Hammond is the country's largest stocking ShoreMaster dealer, with standing docks, rolling docks, floating docks, and boat lifts for any watercraft. ShoreMaster's nearly limitless customization options make it easy to create the perfect dock system for your needs. Take your shoreline to the next level with ShoreMaster from Hammond Lumber Company.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Pittsfield, is sponsored by University of Maine Early College, tuition-free online courses for high school students, umaine.edu/early college. BB's Tattoo Company, Route 7, Newport. Don't cry, don't whine, get yours where I got mine. Stop by and check us out. And Triple S Tack Shop, located in Carmel. Come see us for quality clothing and equestrian gear. Consignments are always welcome. ABC 7, Fox 22, Mainly Eyes, and River's Edge Chiropractic want to send you to see the Kids Pop Never Stop Live Tour, Saturday, July 22nd at the Main Savings Amphitheater in Bangor. Sign up to win tickets by registering at Mainly Eyes in the Bangor Mall. Your #1 choice for eye care and eyewear. Mainly Eyes. You'll see the difference. At River's Edge Chiropractic Wellness Center in Old Town. Win tickets to see Kids Pop July 22nd on the Bangor waterfront.
Mad Cat & Company in the North Brewer Shopping Plaza invites you to host your next event with us. We are much more than just a bar. Our event room is designed to host any type of event, formal or casual. Family gatherings, birthday parties, corporate parties, club meetings, fundraisers, or weddings and receptions. We've got you covered. Our open floor plan can adequately seat 100 or more people, and we can assist you with food, drinks, and entertainment as well. Call or visit our website today.
Construction is underway for a 72-unit housing building on High Street in Ellsworth. Once completed, the building will be a combination of a hotel and multi-unit housing. Stone Park Properties is building the housing complex, which will have short-term lease options for people who plan to stay during the busy months between May and October. It will also accommodate long-term lease options for those who are looking to find a home in Ellsworth. The land was officially purchased 4 years ago. Owner of Stone Park Properties, John Bates, says there will be a variety of lease options.
The specifics of the demand will cater to whatever it is. It could be monthly, it could be May to October, it could be weekly, And so we'll have that lease structure price adjustment accordingly.
And you said 72?
According to Bates, there is still 1 year left of construction before doors officially open. Bangor locals will still have a new shop for sweet treats by the end of the month. Preparations are underway at 624 Hammond Street for the grand opening of Whoopie Wagon Bakery. Owner Christina Thomas says although she's excited about the venture, a brick-and-mortar shop is something completely new to her, and she's anxious to get started.
I'm super nervous. Yep. I can do craft fairs and all that, and it doesn't bother me because I know what to expect. But this, I have no idea. So I'm hoping that it's as busy as it seems that it's going to be.
In addition to baked goods, the shop will feature an array of crafts from local artists. The grand opening is slated for July 29th with a soft opening the week before. Now let's check your full forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, happy Wednesday afternoon. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Ruth and Wimpy's Restaurant in Hancock. Now hiring for all positions. Let's get things rolling out there this afternoon. Dense fog advisories were in effect till 9 a.m. this morning for Washington County. They had a lot of fog earlier. Now we're improving. Sunshine is out, some clouds mixed in as well. But this is what it was doing earlier this morning, though, with some low visibilities in that area. But everyone else looking pretty good. As for everyone else, again, some sunshine and clouds. Not bad, but notice a wave of energy up for the west. We'll have to watch for showers and storms possible during the afternoon period with that cold front right about in here that's going to be moving from the west to the east, and that could give us some stronger storms too during the afternoon period. So some of the storms could probably produce some gusty winds. We'll have to watch that during the afternoon period today across our viewing areas. So it'll move from west to east, maybe a little bit to the south and east too. We'll notice later on tonight as the sun goes down, the worst of it will start to back off. Here's what that threat looks like. It's marginal, 1 out of 5. Nothing to get too worried about though. Just keep an eye on things. So a 1 out of 5 risk. So the biggest concern will be gusty winds, and we'll definitely keep you posted if anything should happen. But otherwise, though, for today, the rest of tonight, though, and the parts of tomorrow, not too bad. Again, looking pretty decent out there. Some clouds, maybe a little bit of fog as well. But by tomorrow, though, mostly cloudy. We're dry all day long, and it'll be a nice one overall. But once we head towards parts of Friday, we'll be watching for more showers and a few rumbles of thunder moving in. Notice, though, not very widespread either. So lots of dry hours with that as well. Just the fog moving in on some nights. But otherwise, though, at least through midnight tonight, again, locally hit and miss showers and storms with heavier downpours, 2 of those storms. Again, maybe some locally heavier amounts in some areas, but overall, not too bad. But in general, as we move forward through Sunday, at least 1 to 2 inches, maybe some locally higher amounts possible between now as we head towards Monday at around midnight. Already a monkey meter, though, showing dew points that will remain high the next several days, right? In the 60s, and look at this, even 70s starting Friday and lasting through Monday. That'll be a very humid air that we'll have to deal with, though, so your air conditioners might be working for a while around here. But your forecast for today, that will stay partly cloudy, a few thunderstorms. Some could contain some damaging winds at times, although a very low threat of that, with highs in the upper 80s and that west wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. By tonight, things start to calm down. Lower 60s, partly cloudy, areas of dense fog, showers early too, with the wind overall looking nice and calm. Tomorrow, we're dry and mostly cloudy, highs in the mid 80s, and a south wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Ruth and Wimpy's Restaurant extended forecast. Storms are back in the forecast Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Temperatures not too bad, and the upper 70s to lower 80s for those days.
Thank you, Devin. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening on ABC 7 News at 6.